Hey there everyone, what's up and welcome back to Film Wave. The shop owned by the Harrison gives its viewers a good time, but their main purpose is and has always been to make money. To do that, they've had to make several overpriced or unfair deals with their customers throughout the years, while at other times they were tricked themselves. This list describes some of those deals in further details. But before we do that, be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of more videos in the future. Number 6. $3 million suit. In one episode, Rick Harrison was shown a mid-18th century suit that had been worn by a US president. Rick, being a patriotic guy, really wanted that suit and was considering paying the full price of $3 million for it. However, after some thinking, he brought his price down to $2 million, which shocked the suit's owner, Brian. Brian wasn't willing to part with anything below $2.5 million, so in the end, Rick walked away from the deal, realizing that it was incredibly expensive. Number 5. Chumleys Dream Car. When the shop owners went to buy a car from someone, Chumley immediately fell in love with it. His associates warned him not to show his eagerness, as that would drive up the cost of the purchase. The initial price set for the old Buick was around $2,500, but Big Hoss was willing to offer just $1,500 for it. In the end, after some clever haggling from Chumley, the deal was finalized at $2,000. When the car was shown to the family, they weren't impressed and laughed at all the stupid modifications that Chumley had made to it. Number 4. Stolen diamonds. People often come into pawn shops looking to sell stolen items, so when a man walked into their shop looking to sell some shiny diamond earrings, the Harrisons were concerned. After asking him some questions and demanding documentation about the ownership of the diamonds, everything turned out to be legitimate. They bought the diamonds from him for $40,000 and felt pleased with the purchase. Unfortunately, just 3 days after the deal was struck, the police came into the shop and informed them that the diamonds had in fact been stolen. In the end, the diamonds were returned to the rightful owners and the thief was arrested, but the Pawn Stars had lost over $40,000. Rick noted sadly that had been the most he's ever lost from a deal. Number 3. Chumley's mistake. Nowadays, Chumley is one of the most trusted guys in the shop, but it wasn't always like that. In the early days of the show, he had made some pretty egregious mistakes, and one of them involved a fake guitar. When Chumley had been left in charge to look after the shop by himself, a man came in looking to sell a Gibson guitar. After some inspection by Chumley, he saw that it had all the right identifiers and looked like an original, so he bought it for $1,500, even though his spending limit was no more than $1,000. Unfortunately, when he had an expert look at it, he found out that it was one of the thousands of fake guitars that were in circulation around the world and was only worth $100. Number 2. A forged signature. Chumley isn't the only one who's made mistakes while purchasing items. In the early days, Rick also made his fair share of blunders as well. On one occasion, a man came looking to sell a book that had supposedly been signed by the baseball legend Shoeless Joe Jackson. Rick carefully considered the purchase and analyzed the signature. He then bought the book for $13,000. When the deal was done, he got his book expert to look into it and was left in shock when she told him that it was probably fake. Still holding out hope, he got a second expert to look into it, who dealt an even more devastating blow, telling him that the signature had definitely been forged and that it was not even a good forgery. Number 1. Not a flamethrower. In a bid to generate funds for his boring company, Elon Musk had sold thousands of flamethrowers cleverly named Not a Flamethrower, which were a huge deal in the US. One day, a young man came into the shop wanting to sell that item and asked for $2,400. Chumley was the one making the deal and offered him $800. After some haggling, the price was finalized at around $1,400. When Chumley showed Rick the Not a Flamethrower, He was really cross and asked if it was even operational. After an expert valued it at around $1,200, Chumley bought the item for himself, but all in all had cost the shop $200. These were just some of the overpriced deals that have been made by the Pawn Stars throughout the years, and no doubt there are many more. These deals were a perfect example of why experience matters when working in a high-stakes job, as most of those could have been avoided if a little more attention had been given. Well, that about wraps up another video which we hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, do let us know by liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more juicy content, as we'll be seeing you in another video real soon. Until then, take care and goodbye.